Our first project for this class is going to be the history of the web project. And the final product is going to look just like what you see here. Although it looks very simple and very basic, there is a good deal of core fundamental uh, HTML and CSS concepts that are going to be learned through this project. So don't let the simple page design actually fool you. If we look at it just from a topical standpoint, we see that regular web page that has, some text looks like it's bigger than others. Some of it is in bold. Obviously, we have some that are links over here that are a slightly different color, and looks really like a lot of stuff that we see everywhere on the web. And this kind of stuff is actually being driven by HTML and CSS. And when we look under the hood, it definitely gets a little more complex. And that's what we're going to do in this next project, is really go over what all this stuff actually means. So the first part we're going to learn is just basic HTML document structure, which is a document that has a HTML declaration, a head, a body. That's pretty standard. We will introduce the title tag, and that's what we see up here that actually names our project. We have the meta description. The meta description is what you would see in the results of Google when you search for something. And if you don't put it in, Google's going to put it in for you. But the other thing too, that besides just a description of what the page is, you want to make one that's SEO friendly, a search engine optimization friendly, something that's going to get indexed well in Google so your pages actually get seen. Below that, we have what's known as embedded CSS styles. Embedded because they're actually on the same page as the HTML. And CSS, if you look at this, looks a little bit different than what you kind of see here. And CSS is what determines the style, the look of the elements that you put into the document. And some of the elements that we're going to put into the document are headers. That's what this is. This is a header tag. We have this bottom smaller stuff are paragraphs, and what's in bold over here is kind of wrapped around something called the strong tag. I know it's bold, and you're saying, well, why don't they just call the tag bold? Well, we'll cover that. We'll know why they call it bold instead of, why they call it strong instead of bold. We'll also see how to set links. And as you see here, even the links that we have are kind of wrapped around this tag that's called an anchor tag. There's some extra credit opportunities. One of the extra credit opportunities, as you see here, is to actually get the text to tilt using some new CSS3 techniques. As you could tell, this is kind of crappy looking, if you will. It's not rendering all that great. It's just straight CSS3, but whatever. It's part of the assignment. Another portion of the extra credit is to get these links to transition to their color. You see, it doesn't just go from that light brown to blue. It kind of fades into that color. So that's another extra credit portion that I'm going to leave up to you to figure out, but then in the solutions I'll show you how it's done. And actually this image over here that I can't even pull with my browser or anything is from CSS, so there's going to be a good deal of CSS we're going to be learning as well. And the other thing we're going to learn is just the difference between CSS and HTML, and how easily you, as the designer or developer, could muddy those waters. CSS is style, HTML is semantic. You're actually providing meaning to your stuff, right? I'm saying this content is a header. It's not a paragraph, because this content kind of defines what this next paragraph text is. and that happens through HTML. And it's really important, especially nowadays where everything gets mashed up and content's brought in from different websites into one place. It's important that you accurately describe your content so it could move around well like that. So there are a ton of concepts we will be covering. So, to kind of conclude this, like I said, don't let this modest design over here fool you. There's a lot of stuff to learn. And in this first assignment, we really need to set a solid foundation in HTML and CSS syntax, their function, and from there we can move on to really make some cooler stuff.